Please be seated. To the friends and family of the bride and groom, thank you. Welcome. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Mark. You might not recognize me because I used to have long, flowing hair, down to about here, but Brian and Jean made me cut it for the wedding. I like to think that Jean and Brian asked me to officiate their wedding because I played a considerable role in their coupling. Individually, these two are amongst my favorite people. Together, they're one of my favorite couples. I'm honored and delighted to be standing up here with the two of you today. Before we get started with the ceremony, I'd like to tell our story. Don't worry, I'll keep it PG-13. I first met Jean at a music festival in the Las Vegas desert. What immediately struck me about Jean was how down she was. Down for new things, open to meeting new people. On the way back to San Francisco, our flight times aligned, and I offered her a ride back home. I still remember getting stuck at the airport parking lot exit because Bobby had thrown me in the pool earlier that day, and the soggy ticket wouldn't work. While we waited, we chatted about work, her recent move from Seattle, mutual friends, and the dazzling weekend we had just experienced. Towards the end of the ride, I invited her to join a surprise birthday party that I was planning for my then girlfriend. That I decided to invite her to such a personal event after such a brief encounter was testament to her character. Naturally, she was down. Now, Brian, on the other hand, I wasn't so sure about. I had met him a few times, and he seemed a little off. I think it was because he had recently fallen down some stairs and hit his head. All jokes aside, we had mostly met under party settings, and he seemed like a pretty cool guy. He was co-workers with aforementioned girlfriend, and had been at her birthday party the year before. I invited him, along with several other Wells Fargo co-workers. And so, the stage was set for something magical. I think everyone in attendance that weekend, almost all of whom are actually here today, can attest that it was truly extraordinary. We danced, drank, laughed, and dined. There were concerts, poolside cabanas, and party buses, a kaleidoscope of new friends and memories. We stayed up till sunrise, living deeply and feasting on life. And of course, it was during this weekend that Brian fell for Jean. And so began the courtship of Jean Yang. The following months were a roller coaster of emotions, the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. Ecstasy and heartbreak. To quote Jean, a cheery, round-faced Korean finance guy with a weakness for whiskey and a penchant for arguing simply wasn't high on her list of priorities at the time. Brian was doggedly persistent. He and I grew closer during this time. I empathized deeply with his pursuit. I feigned neutrality while secretly trying to nudge Jean in the right direction. At times, life seemed on fire with possibility. Yet, there were moments where everything fell apart. Luckily, we all know that this story has a happy ending. In the end, the heartache and pain only heightened the sweetness of victory. On the 1-year anniversary of our first meeting, at the same festival in Las Vegas desert, Jean finally fell for Brian. I think it's human nature to feel uncertainty about some of the decisions that we've made. To wonder, what if? Even small moments can have a monumental impact on the fabric of our lives. that uncertainty is something I think we've all struggled with at some point. For me, the day that you realize you want to spend the rest of your life with someone is amongst life's most important milestones. It validates every choice, every mistake, indeed, every moment of life that came before it. The doubt is gone, and in its place, a profound sense of contentment and bliss. The sun shines brighter. Songs sound sweeter. Food tastes richer. To be sure, storm clouds will inevitably reappear on the horizon. But now, the thunder is muted and the wind subdued. No matter what hardships lay ahead, you'll never again have to face them alone. I've personally fostered some doubt about some of the roads that I've traveled. What if I had chosen a different school, or a different city, or a different job? What if I hadn't been drunk tethering that day? How different my life could have been, for better or for worse. And yet, standing here today, I also share this sense of contentment, as I'm sure many of you do. Somehow, all the decisions and mistakes that we've made led us all here today. We've all played our part in their story, and that has made all the difference.
You tell me of a place you like to go. You say it will reach out and seize the soul.